In an exclusive interview coming up next, a founding member from a legendary new wave act who dominated the last year of the 80s into 1990 tells us the story behind their biggest hit next on Professor of Rock. Hey music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. Make sure to subscribe to our channel below right now to get to know the real stories behind your favorite songs. I mean, the soundtrack of our very lives. And most of the time it comes from the artists themselves, as history you won't find really anywhere else. And also take a look at our Patreon link below for another catalog of content, and it supports our mission, our aim to keep the music alive, very important. Now, 1989 to 1990 was a special time for a pioneering new wave act that spent over a decade building a following. The B52s were more than due for a mainstream breakthrough as the 80s were wrapping up, and they did just that with their multi-platinum melee, Cosmic Thing. Great album. They conquered the charts with their third single off of that record, Love Shack, which we've covered in a previous mini documentary, where I have the story there. You can see it on our channel if you'd like. The third time was definitely the charm for the band. The first two singles from Cosmic Thing. They didn't make much impact on the charts, but Love Shack, of course, had that catchy, undeniable dance beat and the charm of the larger-than-life personalities of the vocalists, Kate Pearson, Cindy Wilson, and of course, Fred Schneider. Love Shack was arguably the summer jam of 1989. It was produced by the great Don Was, and the song was a comeback for the band as their previous releases hadn't resonated with a large audience. When they hit it big with Rock Lobster, but the band was haunted after that by the tragedy, the death of guitarist Ricky Wilson. It happened 4 years previous to the release of Love Shack. And actually, the band had agreed to part ways after their album Bouncing Off the Satellites came out in '86. And at that point, nobody knew if the B52s would release another album, maybe ever. Now, things changed in 1988 when guitarist drummer Keith Strickland, he pushed the group to get together to write new songs. It was very healing for them, especially for Cindy Wilson, as Ricky was her older brother. Now, as the band put together the songs for Cosmic Thing, they found that they were creating tunes that were more sophisticated than their typical fare, more mature themes. And a lot of the album was created in Woodstock in upstate New York. They recorded it at, I believe, Skyline Studios and Dreamland Recording Studios, with tracks produced by the aforementioned Don Was, as well as the legendary Nile Rodgers. Now, although Love Shack is considered to be the band's signature song, I guess that's arguable because there's Rock Lobster, but I've always been partial to the two other tracks from Cosmic Thing. Realistically, the B52's next single was actually just as big of a hit as Love Shack. Rome went to the same number 3 position on the Billboard Hot 100. It also went gold, sold over 500,000 copies. Although Love Shack is a cultural touchstone, one of the most played party songs ever, I believe Rome is the better song. I mean, we all have our preferences. And to be fair, Rome is probably my favorite B52 song ever. It just has exquisite vocals by the cosmic blend of Kate Pearson and Cindy Wilson. And although Fred is in the video, he doesn't sing or talk on the track. Rome was a hit worldwide, though. It hit the top 10 in Canada and New Zealand and Ireland. It was nominated for a Grammy. Great song, and the story's coming up. Now, their last single from Cosmic Thing was the reflective and just elegant Deadbeat Club. The band members wrote that particular song about their early days when they were hanging around in cafes in Athens, Georgia. And they were given the name Deadbeats by their parents as they didn't have jobs. They talk about real places in the song and in the area, and actually the video to the song featured Athens' other great band, REM's Michael Stipe. REM and the B52s, of course, crossed paths quite a bit, especially then. One of the standout performances is Kate Pearson singing on REM's top 10 hit Shiny Happy People from their 91 mega album Out of Time. Deadbeat Club is a very special song to me. Musically, it just aches of a perfect nostalgia that weaves its way into your soul. I can't really define it. And sometimes music doesn't need to be explained. But for me, Deadbeat Club, it conveys a feeling that only a few songs can deliver for me about the end of an era. And the timing of this song coming out was really inspired because it was really the end of an era in music. As technology started to take over and convenience replaced experience in a way. And that feeling was defined in this song, I feel. I love it. Anyway, I had the amazing opportunity to talk to Cindy Wilson of the B52s about both of these songs. Like I said, my two favorites by the band ever. And this is the story of them coming up. Now, as we go into this interview, I want to thank our sponsor, Zenni Eyewear, the glasses that I wear every single day. Now, when you go to Zenni.com, you can choose from hundreds of styles and colors and looks. I mean, you can even put, like I put rock and roll on the side here. You can add amazing features like blue blocks to protect your eyes from digital blue light, anti-fog, and anti-glare. When you order a pair of Zennis, you're not going to want for another brand, I promise you. So here's B52, Cindy Wilson with the story. That was a tough period because it was a long time before you guys released another album. I mean, it really was almost like entering into the consciousness all over again when Cosmic Thing came out leading up to that.
Because there was it was Ricky's last album, and I'm sure he was not feeling well. It was hard. But, we did the album and we gave it to Warner Brothers to put out. We played the Rock in Rio. That was Ricky's last festival or last show. And that show really means a lot to me that I got, that was our last show. Tina and Chris came with us to do that show from Talking Heads. Yeah. And it was a blast. We had a blast.
You're living in your own private Idaho.
I mean, I'm sure it was tough to pick up after that because he was such a part of you guys' sound. I mean, and of course, Keith started learning the guitar and learning Ricky's style
what had
a little
happened
bit.
Is Ricky passed, and it took a while for us to even think about getting back together. And so Keith Strickland moved up to Woodstock, New York, and kind of just became a hermit. But he was writing music. And so he contacted us and said, are y'all want to try and see if we can do some music? And so he brought some music down from Woodstock, and we rented a hole in the wall in Wall Street area. And that's where we wrote Cosmic Thing, the whole album. And, but it was very healing and amazing. We had no clue that it was going to be so well received.
Yeah. Cosmic Thing, of course, hence the title. As you said, that was very special, a lot of magic coming together. And you just feel it from the album cover to the name of the album to the songs on it. Let's jump into that. Now, of course, was Don Was and Nile Rodgers. I mean, two of the great producers of the time. And
we were so lucky to be able to get them, and that they wanted to tackle us, But both had a different working style, and both put their imprint on it.
Oh, definitely. Well, Rome has always been my favorite song that you guys ever did. It's just such a beauty to that song. And there's a quote that I read, Mark Twain quote, He says, travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. To me, Rome is the musical equivalency.
I agree
of
with you
that
100%. Travel is very enlightening, and you can't be prejudiced when you see the rest of the world.
And of course, Robert Waldrop, who designed the cover for Wild Planet, wrote the lyrics.
Yeah, the B52s, we did that a lot. We invited some friends to, bring on some lyrics. Jeremy Ayers, he brought in for a couple of songs, and Robert did Hero Worship.
I hear worship. He deserves it.
And Kate and I did the vocal melody and harmonies. And we structured the song sort of. Keith did the music and helped structure the song. So it was it really was inspired. Simple song that with a kind of anthem-like feel. We like anthems too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that distinct part that begins at "I hear a wind." Whistling air, whispering in my ear. Was that part of the original composition that he wrote, or did you guys?
Who wrote? Oh, no. That was Kate and I.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Because that's how you guys come in on that. That had to have been, it feels like almost a separate part of the song.
What we did is Robert, wrote the lyrics, but it was a poem. It wasn't constructed like a song. So Keith had the music. He brought it in, and Kate and I jammed with the lyrics over the music, and that's how we structured it and made it more of a song.
Well, I love your second verse when you come in because there's so much angst there. The way that you approach the skip the airstrip to the sunset. Ride the arrow to the target one, take it to the hip to hip.
Yeah. It's a very poetic song, and it's still to this day. You wouldn't believe the reaction we get for Rome. People, are almost sobbing. They're so inspired, and it's a different thing from regular B52 songs.
It really is, because it's almost like a pocket symphony, like what the Beach Boys used to do back in the day, because it's so structured and beautiful. And there's a melancholy to it too. And the other thing I love about it is I remember growing up, there was a commercial on TV about being an exchange student.
Yes.
And they use that and it makes you want to just go see the world.
Yeah, it's an anthem. And I love what they did with the video.
Oh, I know. It's so cool.
It's so fun.
And of course, nominated for a Grammy as well. But I wanted to mention about the Deadbeat Club, though. I love the harmonies on that. And I love that that's like almost nostalgic of you guys looking back a little bit on
exactly.
You and
hit the
Ricky
nail on
and
the
all
head.
of you guys. It's so cool. There's something special about that song.
Well, like you said, it was nostalgic because we were surrounded by death. Friends dying, my brother dying. It was the AIDS epidemic. And it was a horrible time. Horrible. Reagan wasn't talking, and
we didn't even say
it was
word.
It was a very, very dark time. And so that was definitely a craving a simpler, happier time.
Back to the roots, and Michael Stipe makes an appearance in the music video.
Isn't that wonderful?
Representing you guys in Athens.
Exactly.
It's just such a great song. It really is one that people need to go back and listen to.
Yeah, actually, we're performing. We've added that to our set list
I love
and
it.
we're playing it now.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave us a comment about this classic of 1989. What are your thoughts on the songs and about the B52s and the end of the 80s? What are your memories of hearing these songs and the end of that era? We'd love to know below. If you like this video, we do invite you to become a full-time part of our community by subscribing. We'd love to have you. We also invite you to check out our Patreon. Just give it a look. It helps us keep the music alive. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends.